my jab was going to be the most important punch in the boxing match.
Can still snap a left jab out, but not do much else.
He says, don't worry, Mike, you know, I'm an old man. Don't worry about that. And you stand there. And then all of a sudden, boom, bing, there's a right hand right behind it.
Don't stay there because he's looking to set you up one shot, and then he'll open up a combination till he hits you.
The irony of this fight is both simple and complex. With 9 minutes left and ahead on all judges' cards by a large margin, all Michael Moorer had to do was stay away. Instead, he fought like a heavyweight champion.
Right hand landed there. And another. And a right and a left, and suddenly Moorer stops punching, and it's Foreman's initiative.
The first punch I hit him with was the straight right. It was just a little too high. He didn't move out of the way because he was kind of stunned.
And Moorer later told me that he was basically out on his feet before the last 1-2.
I expected him to fall. It didn't. And I said right then I was going to lower it just a little bit.
Is that on goes Moorer on a right hand? An unbelievably close-in right hand shot. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It happened. It happened.
I think that George has advanced ring intelligence.
I had this all playing out for the previous 3 months.
Bullshit. Don't fake it. You got lucky. Don't sit there and say you planned it. By no means.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
I was crushing him for 10 rounds.
Nobody had any idea that I was setting this fight up all night.
I don't have no bad feelings against George, but don't say that you set this up, because you're lying then. You're lying.
And Michael Moorer, is that
Down goes Moorer on a right hand. An unbelievably close-in.
He never saw it coming. Everything disconnected.
My body was completely dead.
And it was devastating.
5, 6,
This was a chance for him to grow.
7, 8,
If he got through it, who knows what would have been in front of him.
9, 10.
But we didn't quite get there.
It was an unbelievable achievement, but I have to tell you that my face was not on George. My heart was with Michael Moorer on the mat.
I respect the fact that he came there to fight. And in the 10th round, 45 years old, he still had the power to knock me out.
And I remember going up the freight elevator, and I remember looking over, and there was Michael standing right next to me, and Teddy standing next to him, and there was no one else in the elevator. And I remember looking at him, and I just said to him, I said, look, Michael, you have nothing to be ashamed of. You could say things about yourself that no man can say. And he said, I don't care about any of that stuff. He says, I'm only upset is, how do I explain this to my son?
I had told George for months, George, how are you going to find him? You haven't fought in a long time. He moves in there. He goes at a different angle. He's a southpaw. He wouldn't stand still for Holyfield. Why would he stand still for you? And George said, you watch, somewhere late in the fight, he's going to come stand in front of me. Wow.
I dreamed I knocked Michael Moorer out before that fight.
George knew this all along. George saw this from maybe, from 5 years before. This is Zaire all over again, but I'm the guy who's going to win this time. I'm the guy who's going to be too smart for that other guy.
I lose the title in Zaire, and that wasn't the best of me. There I'm on the canvas, I try to beat the count. I had all kinds of excuses, but it was a hard thing, and it had been a hard thing to live down, that you are the heavyweight champ of the world, yet you don't have the title. For years, I had to live with that.
I saw George at a function here a few months back, and they showed the tape of him knocking me out, and I said a few words. I said, just think, if I'd have ducked one more time, we'd be sounding like Michael Moorer girls instead of George Foreman girls.
Somebody once asked me, if is George Foreman winning the heavyweight title at age 45 tougher than Jack Nicklaus winning the Masters at age 46? And as much as I love Jack Nicklaus, nobody was hitting Jack Nicklaus. Michael Moorer was still punching George Foreman.
And once again, heavyweight champion of the world, Big
Michael Moorer later recaptured a heavyweight belt, but lost it to Evander Holyfield. George Foreman had never openly sought specific redemption for his demise against Ali in Zaire, but it's revealing that he chose to wear the same trunks on this night that he had worn in the jungle 20 years before. His triumph was trumpeted in headlines, but it spoke even louder in the fine print of endorsement contracts, which earned him hundreds of millions of dollars. Call it the biggest purse in the history of prize fighting. Thanks for watching The Tale of Foreman Moorer.
This has been a presentation of HBO Sports, the network of champions.